What's going on, folks? It's me, Nightstargamer, and I'm back with another favorite Pokemon list. This time we're doing Gen 2, which is probably one of my favorite generations next to 5. So I'm honestly curious to see where some of these Pokemon land. I am just noticing that my head might be blocking stuff, so let me do some adjustments. As you guys can probably hear, I have some music in the background. Hopefully this is all DMCA or whatever the acronym is safe. That's music I use during my streams. You can see the artist and the song above my head. Be sure to support these people. They make amazing music. But yeah, so without further ado, let's dive in. I can't wait. So honestly, I feel with the starters would give us a pretty good baseline. So my favorite starter out of all of them, or at least the early, out of all of them, is Cyndaquil. And then Chikorita is probably A for me. So how I'm gonna rate these? S is like top tier. Like I love and adore them. Sometimes there's not even a reason for it. I just do. A is I just love them. They're great. For one reason or another, could be design, could be, maybe their personality in like the anime, something along those lines. There's just something about them I just adore. B is very, like, B and C are kind of interchangeable, whereas B is basically, I like them. I have no issue with them. Pretty much it. I just like them for the same reasons as A and S. C is neutral. C is very much no, this should be D. C is very much neutral. Them. I don't love them. I don't hate them. I just kind of, they're there. They're neat. They exist. No other feelings besides that. D is I start to dislike them. Once again, could be for design, could be for personality, could be any of that stuff. Maybe I just don't like them in battle. Maybe I just haven't had good experiences with them. C tends to be for Pokemon I haven't really used very much, or if I have, just haven't really left an impression. D are for the ones that's just I can't get into them. And F is like bottom, like I just don't like them. Once again, it could be any of the reasons I set up above. It could just be design. Same thing for S, where any reason could put it into S. A lot of reasons could put it into F. It's kind of the extreme, but it's just kind of a gut reaction. But at the same time, I will say, even though I'm putting this in a tiered list, I don't, besides like 3 Pokemon from the entire series off the top of my head, there's not really any Pokemon I really hate. I overall do enjoy the designs of them. So yeah. That said, if your favorite Pokemon isn't where you want it to be, it's not a personal attack. There's no animosity between me and you. This is just my own personal list. Your list will be different. Feel free to let me know in the description, or not description, in the comment section of what is your favorite Pokemon. Because that's the beauty with Pokemon, right? And these sort of monster collection games, or really RPGs in general, is that your favorite characters might be different from mine. And that's awesome. That's why I think Pokemon has lasted so long. It's just because there's so many lovable characters and everyone starts off somewhere. I started off in Gen 1, but I played way more of Gen 2 growing up. But to me, Blue and Silver were basically interchangeable to me. But yeah. So that said, don't take offense. There's going to be choices that people aren't going to like. Already, I hear a lot of people don't like Chikorita. Perfectly okay. But yeah. Anyway, let's get into it. S tier is Centiquail for me. I always choose Centiquail if I can during a run. The fact that you can pick Cyndaquil during Legends made me super happy. I was so hyped for that because I love this little guy. He's so cute. He's cuddly. He's adorable. I just love him. Like it's just his design. He looks like he would he would like to get little pet just above the nose. He's just super cute. I also love Chikorita. I think a lot of it does come from the anime. It's all personality, but it also sort of like, do I love Chikorita or do I like Chikorita? In a lot of ways, I think I like Chikorita's. Chikorita might go down to B, but I do adore Chikorita. Like if I don't pick Cyndaquil and I just want to change it up, I'll pick Chikorita. Totodile, on the other hand, I neutral. I don't love or like. I don't hate. I neutral Totodile. I get a lot of people love him, and I can see why. He's super happy. He's super cheerful. He's adorable. But I just never really used them, so I just don't really have a lot of connection with them. Now for the evolutions. One thing as well. My intent is to split this into 2 sessions, but if I go through this really quickly, it will be 1 video, but we'll have to see. So, Bayleaf. I think I like, oddly enough with Chikorita, I think I like Bayleaf and Magnium better. Than Chikorita herself. Cyndaquil and Typhlosion are up there. Since I don't want to have all of these guys in S tier, I feel like S tier is more reserved. I don't know, it's really hard to pick. Like, I do think all of Cyndaquil's evolutions hit in such a very specific way for me. Like, Cyndaquil is cute and it's adorable. Quilava has that like angsty teenage vibe to it, kind of like Charmeleon does. But he's still cute to me, and still looks really cool at the same time. Like somehow he's like the cool teenager, but like the cool teenage protagonist, but also is cute. It's a very weird mix. And Typhlosion is just awesome looking. I hate that Typhlosion hasn't really had a lot of love in the series, but yeah, there's these guys. I don't see them here, but I'm not doing like I don't see them here in this list. But yeah, I'm not really focusing on variants of them. So don't worry about any various variants. Those will be probably saved for the future gens that they were introduced in. Yeah, and honestly, I'm kind of feeling the same for kind of Totodile's line. They're all kind of interchangeable for me in this list. Like, honestly, Crocodile has grown on me a little bit more. Just he looks pretty cool. There's something about Feraligatr that always looked a little goofy, and I don't know if that was intentional. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty okay with this. Like if I had to, I would probably put like really like yeah. Honestly, I don't think I could. I think these 3 are just S tier for me. And like Chikorita is awkward with like his weird head nub, and I feel like it gets a lot of flack because of that head nub. Like I feel like if they would have gave it more of the bean head with the neck design, but maybe smaller, like Littlefoot from Land Before Time, maybe it would have had more traction. But like, honestly, Chikorita could be B tier for me or A tier. Like, they're kind of bordering that line. We'll see where they end up as time goes on. Sentret and Ferret. I kind of just neutral Sentret, but I do like Ferret. I think he's cute. I would love to have like a pet Ferret in real life, but don't they weigh like 75 pounds or some bullshit like that? Like they're heavy. Yeah, 75 pounds or 25 pounds. Something I can't remember, but they're heavier than they look. So obviously having one of these guys wrapped around your neck would probably break you because of how heavy they are. But Pokemon weights don't ever make sense. Hoo and Noctowl. Once again, kind of just neutral Hoo. I'd use Noctowl a little bit here and there. But I think he's also just neutral. Like, I think he's higher up in the neutral. Maybe light. Yeah, I think I could put Noctowl in light. Because I do really like his design. It has like a foreboding feel to it. And where am I feeling with Hoot here? It's weird though. I don't ever want to use a Hoot during a run. That's the weird thing. I like Noctowl enough. Like his design alone puts him in B tier for me. I think Hoot goes into high C. And I think Sentret goes a little higher in C for me. Yeah, I'm not feeling B for these two. Ladybug and Lydian. These are Pokemon I wish were better. Like, I love their design, but they suck so much. Like, their design makes them go a long way, and like you can use them during the main game. But like, they lack power, they lack defense. I don't even think they have a good speed. They don't have any bulk to them, like any health. They're just kind of there, and that's sad. I think the only thing that they have going for them is can't Lydian or one of these two learn like the elemental punches. Because I remember looking up their move pool when I was drawing these two during like because I've been drawing every Pokemon, and I've been drawing through Gen 2 recently or lately, and I remember looking at move pools to get some inspiration, and I remember seeing that they have all the elemental punches, which is cool. They just don't have power to do it, to use it. So I like here's the thing. Looking at this for like a challenge run or just a regular playthrough, one, I've tried using Ladybug. They don't work. And if I had to do a challenge run, and let's say I did that one Pokemon that helped me like build up my team, maybe I'm struggling. If you watch my Pokemon Red playthrough recently, you'll know what I mean. You had a party wipe, you're down to your last wire, and you go into the grass, and you can catch your a Pokemon in, and a Ladybug pops up. How happy are you? And I wouldn't be happy at all. I think Ladybug's going to be in D tier. Lydian, however, I think gets at least C tier for design alone. Like, man, Lydian might be one that we revisit later. Um, but I do think I like Lydian better than Hoot as is. And I'm learning a lot of the designs in Gen 2 are very either hit or miss for me. And that is impacting my decision quite a bit. Like, honestly, for design alone, not ability wise, just design, I could see Lydian in B. Just because of design. Letaba just sucks. Like, Lydian isn't great. It's just slightly better than Letaba. But they do get the elemental punches, and the design's really cool. And just the idea of a little bug punching you with fire and ice and lightning. It's like, fire, ice, lightning! You know, like that's kind of cool. And they get like Mach Punch, I believe, as well. So they're not great, but there is potential. They're like the only potential Letaba has is that it becomes Lydian, and Lydian isn't great. Spinarak and Ariados. Once again, I feel like I like the so many times in Pokemon. I love the starting evolution. Middle evolution kind of drops, and the ending evolution tends to be a little higher for me, but not as high as the starting evolution. I'm noticing a trend in Gen 2, which is interesting, that I didn't even think would be the case. A lot of the time, either like with the starters, they're all kind of on the same level. But with the rest of the Pokemon, I'm noticing a trend where the starting evolution is lower. Like the basic is lower than the next stages, which is interesting to me. Spinarak, once again, I think I just neutral Spinarak. If I get a Spinarak in a run, I'm just like, oh, cool, Spinarak. But I haven't really used them very much, and like, I don't really know how good they are, but I do love their design. Like Ariados, and Spinarak's design is nice too. But I haven't really used them. But once again, C is feeling good. Crobat, S tier. No arguments here, right? Like if you were ever like, even people who really dislike Zubat and Golbat cannot argue Crobat, other than the fact that they just don't like the previous two evolutions. Like, Crobat is so good. Like, it's fast, it hits hard, it doesn't have a lot of HP or really defenses. I mean, that's not the worst. Like, Golbats do have some bulk to them, so it's not the worst. Like, it's not like it can't take a hit, but the fact that like it's just overall super solid. Like, cannot argue them at all. Definitely S tier. At the very least, high A tier, but I'm feeling pretty confident with S. Chinchou and Lantern. These are those Pokemon that I haven't really used much. I vaguely remember using them in a Nuzlocke I did a while ago in like Black and White. And I like them because of their bulk and their typing. They're not very good though. For these two, I feel like I'm good putting them in B. And there's something about Lantern I like more than the rest of these guys. So something like that. Pichu, all the babies. Okay. Pichu's kind of cute. these two are cute. Okay. I am not the biggest fan of a lot of the baby Pokemon. Like, out of all these, I think Igglybuff is my least favorite. Igglybuff, Igglypuff. I can't remember which. Question. What is Togetic? It's always just one of those designs that's just weird to me. Like, I get Togepi is like a broken egg. I'm trying to think how I feel with... Honestly, I don't know if I would put these two in D tier. I don't love them, but I don't dislike these two either. Like, Pichu works as a previous evolution to, like, a baby form to Pikachu. I don't mind it. Clefable's, or like, Cleffa, is in that same boat. There's just something kind of cute and charming about it. There's some charm in Togepi and Togetic, but I just don't like them much. At least with these two, you get a Pikachu and a Raichu, and Pichu itself is very cute. With Cleffa's case, you get like Clefairy and Clefable, which are just solid Pokemon as a whole, but they're also not my favorite Pokemon. But I don't know, there's always like Togepi and Togetic have just been kind of neutral to me. I do really like Togekiss in Gen 4. You know, they're pretty solid. But at the same time, I think that's mostly because I use them competitively. Design-wise, I don't really know how I feel about them. And that's just the weird thing with these two, is that I don't know how I feel. So, like, I think I like Togetic a little more. But yeah, like Togetic could maybe go into C tier, but I'm not convinced yet. Natu and Actu. These are Pokemon I want to like. Like, I want to just be like, boop, boop, and call it a day. But I haven't really used them. And maybe in future generations, but I tried just playing Heart Gold in my free time and trying to, like, use the Natu. Good lord, do they get nothing. They get no moves, and they just kind of suck. Like, they're very cute design. I love birds. Like, don't get me wrong. Birds are typically pretty high, but I don't think I can put them in D tier because I don't dislike them. I think if I ever caught one in a run, I would be like, oh, neat, I get to try these guys. Especially if I have access to TMs and stuff. But as a whole, I don't think I can put them higher than C. And lower than C sounds wrong. Ooh. Next up, Mareep, Flaffy, and Ariados. This is going to be one of those lines where it's back to how it kind of was for me in Gen 1. Whereas I kind of just neutral Flaffy. Like, Flaffy's fine. Like, he's probably higher up here than the others. And, like, it makes sense. But Mareep and Ampharos is up high for me. And it's one of those... I can't really explain why. I think I just really like Mareep. And I really like Ampharos. And a funny thing, and that's probably added a little bit to it. So, it's weird. This is one of those weird, like, blessings that just kind of has stuck with me. So, anytime there is a new Pokemon release and Mareep is in it, they are always the first shiny I get in that game. Not grinding, you know, not shiny farming. I just happened to trip over them. I had a friend give me a shiny Mareep back in, like, high school. From, like, Gen 2 or something like that. Which I cherish deeply. And ever since then, every gen, I encounter one shiny Mareep naturally. And if you remember early gens, that's a 1 in 8,197 chance or something like that. So not very high. And every gen that they were in, I encountered it. Like, I encountered one in, I want to say, Gen 6. I encountered one in Gen 9. Like, yeah, in Gen 6, you can encounter them near the ranch, I believe. And I encountered them there. Oh, no, that's Gen... No, that would... I get them mixed up. Whichever one Sun and Moon is. I think that's Gen 7. But yeah, I have so many. I have like 6 shiny Mareeps, one of which I turned into a shiny Ampharos. But yeah, there's one of those Pokemon that I just keep finding shinies of, and they have like a soft spot in my heart for them. Blossom. Honestly, I just love Blossom's design. It's cute. It's cheerful. Like, I feel like you can't be in a bad mood if you have a Blossom. You know? Blossom. Like, it's just one of those things where imagine Pokemon is in real life. If you see one of these little ones, you're going to be in a good mood, and if they're sad, you're going to want to help them because they're sad. They're just cute and charming and pretty. So, A tier. A part of me could convince myself S tier based off of design alone, because of just how impulsive that instinct is for me. Meryl and Azuro Meryl. They're cute. It's gonna be weird, but there's a lot of neutrals for me. How am I feeling for this? I feel like I could put Meryl higher. Just gonna skip that one because it has talking in it. Sudowoodo. Sudowoodo is interesting because he's a really awkward Pokemon, right? And when you look at him, at least when I initially looked at him in the past, I was just kind of like, don't really care. He was very neutral for me early on. But here's the thing. Sudowoodo, being a rock type, does have good defenses, and he does hit decently hard. Like, if you need a rock type for your team that doesn't have ground, which is very rare, right? Like, there's none in Gen 1 that are just rock. And I don't remember any just rock Pokemon being introduced until, like, Gen 5 with Roggenrola. Are there any others? What rock types are in Gen 1? Rhyhorn, who's ground. I guess there's rock water in Gen 1. And rock flying. But yeah, not a lot of just rock types. Yeah, I don't think there's actually that many. So, and like, having actually used a Sudowoodo before, I feel like I can comfortably put him in like S tier, or I mean S tier, B tier. Like, just as a whole, if you're struggling, or if you're like looking for that like kind of bulky wall that can still deal some damage. They're also like, they're not fast, but like they can take some hits if you want to use like stealth rock tactics. I can't remember if they can learn Spike or not. But like, all in all, they're actually pretty solid. I don't think they're A tier for me, but they're definitely high B tier. Politoed. Politoed is weird for me. Because I really like the Poliwag, Poliwhirl, Poliwrath, that line. For some reason, giving it more Toad-like features kills it for me. And I can't figure why. And if it was like a year or two ago, I would have probably put him in like D tier. But I also can't deny that Politoed is just cute. There is a cuteness to it. So like, where do I feel right? Like, it's weird. I feel like my dislike of Politoed is like, would have put it in D. But then there's something about it, and I think because I had such a dislike and then a like, I think I have to put it in B. Because just because I have thoughts on it, I think puts it higher than C. And I don't think I can put it in D tier. Even though I don't always love the design, I don't think I can discount everything that is great with Politoed. And, you know, its ability, its design is cute. Like, I can't even tell you why I disliked it to begin with. So, yeah, I think he's going up into B. Ooh, the Hoppit line here. This is another one of those lines where I kinda I wish they were better. Like, I think they have decent HP, but that's it. I also didn't realize until like Scarlet and Violet that Hoppet has a tail. So, fun little fact there. If you never noticed that. At the same time, I don't dislike them. So we have the Hoppet line. Feeling D tier for Skip Bloom. C at least for Jump Fluff and Hoppet. I think just a little higher up on C. Like that. Apom. I think I mentioned this before. Not a big fan of monkeys. So like, I don't know, they're fine. But I just kind of just feeling D. I'm feeling like I don't. They're not a C for me. They're not an F. I don't love monkeys, but I don't dislike Apom either. So D feels right. D feels also pretty good for Sunkern and Sunflora. Yama, probably pretty high up in like B. Yama's just pretty cool. Whooper! Either high A or S. Firesight's pretty high up in B as well. Umbreon, probably S tier. Espeon, probably A tier. Murkrow, high A, possibly S. Slowking, honestly B tier is pretty good for Slowking. Like, I like his design. I like Slowbro as a, the Slowpoke line as a whole. Honestly, I just love the Murkrow. I love his little like hat. He looks like a little witch. Super cute. Yeah. Espeon, or not Espeon. Umbreon's probably my favorite of the EV evolutions. Next to like Flareon. Yeah, and Espeon's just cute. I like Espeon. I like defensive Pokemon, which is why I also think I like Umbreon a lot more. But Espeon also hits really hard as well. Honestly, Mischievous is kind of an A tier for me. Like I just like his design. It's super cute. Any objections? F tier, unknown. Like, the entire alphabet is cool, but that's it. Like their concept is neat, but if I had to put any of these Pokemon in F tier, has to be unknown. Wobbuffet. Here's the thing, Wobbuffet's neat, but he's just kind of like whatever to me. Like, I could argue D, but I don't know. He's fine. Like, either lower in C or higher in D. Draft Rig, never used. Even in the new games, now that has an evolution, Never used them. Wanted to. But haven't really had that chance. But I'm not against it either. I don't dislike them. So I think just B. Or C. A little higher up in C. Yeah, like here. Fortress. This is the poor man's Scizor. The Scizor requires you to trade to get it. That's one you can just get by headbutting. And Pineco. Honestly, I feel like B tier all around for these lads. Maybe like here. Dunsparce. Here's the thing with Dunsparce. I think Dunsparce is really cute. Maybe F tier is a little too harsh, I will admit. I can probably put him in D. But here's the thing I don't like with Dunsparce. What is his role? What is it doing? Its evolution is its own can of worms. But Dunsparce is what I look at and go, there's so much potential here. And if you look at like Dunsparce's stats, it's not the worst in the world. It's just kinda there. Like, Dunsparce is that Pokemon where if I catch it, I do just groan. And I think for that reason alone, I have to put it in F tier. Because any time I get Dunsparce, I'm just like, ugh. You know? I just kind of groan. Maybe I just haven't really gotten a good chance to use him. But yeah, he's just kind of there. Like, maybe the end of D, I don't know. Liger. Yeah. High C. Kind of just neutral Liger. You know, like his typing. Pretty solid hitter. Just kind of neutral for me. Steelix, easily B tier. Maybe a little higher. Yeah, that feels about right. Snubbull and Gramble. For the longest time, I kind of just disliked Snubbull. Like, I do think that there is, like, an ugliness to them. But at the same time, I can see the ugly cute charm of them. So whereas before, I would have probably put them in, like, D. I think Snubbull actually goes up a tier for me. I haven't really gotten a good chance to use Snubbull, though. But Snubbull's probably a little higher up. Yeah, that feels right. Where am I feeling Gramble? Do I feel him above these? Yeah. Honestly, I don't think he's quite D tier. Like, he's still, like, I get, are they normal fairy or just fairy now? Not 100%, but I don't know, there's just something. There's something. I can see how someone could think he's really cool. He's a little disturbing to me, but I think that's part of his charm. He's kind of, I think he's just awkward, and that has grown on me. Quillfish. D. Like, legit, are there any, like, actual, like, Quillfish, like, fans out there? Like, Quillfish is another one of those Pokemon I would like to give a chance to. Because I want to put it higher up on this list. But he's just one of those Pokemon I haven't really used. I didn't get around to using him in Arceus. And he just kind of exists for me. Like, I kind of forget he's a thing until I encounter him. I kind of had the same thing with, like, Apom as well. I kind of just forget Apom exists until it's like, oh, hi. And to me, that's almost, like, worse than nothing, like, neutral, you know? Neutral is, like, at least they're still a part of, you know, I can think of them, you know? I don't go, oh, I forgot you existed. Well, honestly, Giraffere is kind of in that same forgot they existed boat as well. But with Giraffere, I forget, but there has been the intent, especially in recent years, to use them. But now that I say that, well, I can also say that for the Totodile line as well. I don't like them. There's an intent to use them, but I just haven't done it. But at least with them, I think of them more because of the starter status. But yeah, so with this, I'm feeling pretty okay. Quillfish, probably higher up in D, though. There's definitely an interest there. Scizor, F tier. Nah, I'm kidding you guys. He's S or A. Like, awesome design, really cool. Just overall, just defensive and hits like a truck. Like, time for a fire weakness, but for everything you gain, that weakness is like nothing. Like, definitely feeling S tier, high A tier. We'll have to, like, polish this a little bit more at the end of the list, but I'm feeling this right now. Shuckle. No. Like, Shuckle, really, really defensive. That's it. Like, if you wanted to, like, do a stall where you give Shuckle, like, Toxic, and then, and can it learn Recover? I'm actually not sure if it can learn Recover. If it can't, it makes it worse. I know nothing about Shuckle. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like, Shuckle is a good wall. Maybe it can be a good stalling wall, but I don't see anything beyond that. And Shuckle is just kind of there. Also, a Pokemon that I forget exists, but I'm putting it lower than Unknown, because at least Unknown has interesting, like, lore implications, and it's used as, like, a puzzle in the game, which is kind of neat. Shuckle just, let's be fair, besides the first time you ever got Shuckle in, like, Pokemon Gold and Silver and, like, the remakes, you were excited because, oh, cool, new Pokemon. I'm willing to bet that not a lot of people were like, oh, cool, he's on my team forever. He's just kind of a weird little rock bug. Ooh, Heracross. Heracross is probably A. Once again, I might shift this around a little bit, but yeah. Sneasel. Honestly, just love his design. It always bummed me out that he didn't have an evolution in the earlier games. But I do genuinely really like Sneasel. High up in B at least. Teddiursa. Here's the thing. Teddiursa does fall into the never use, wanted to thing. But I really just like Teddiursa. I think they're really, really cute. So for that, they could be easily. Because honestly, love Teddiursa. If like, where do you catch Teddiursa? Because I've wanted to use Teddiursa in Gen 2 for so long, and just like, you know, I can look it up, of course, and I have in the past, but I always forget where you catch Teddiursa. Like, it's just one of those Pokemon where, like, where is it? Because, like, it's one of those Pokemon where I would love for it to show up earlier in the games. I feel like if it did, it would probably gain more recognition. But because it shows up somewhere, it just kind of exists in the world. And by the time you do encounter one, you probably already have, like, a better normal type, or just a normal type in general. Like, you probably have, like, Furret on your team. Or by that time, you probably have, like, Snubbull. And Snubble's probably pretty solid. Or, you know, you have, like, your normal flying type, so you probably have, like, Noctowl. Or if you like Togepi, you would probably have, like, Togepi. So, like, by the time you come across Teddiursa, you're just kind of like, eh, that's it. But for design, pretty high up in B. Ursaring, I don't really have any feelings towards Ursaring. He's kind of cute, cool, kind of cute. I think I like him more than Gligar. So I guess he's B tier because I like him more than some of these lads. Maybe like here. Like, I feel like I can swap these two around and be pretty okay with it. Slugma and Macargo. I know a lot of you are probably wanting me to say the joke, and I'm not going to. If you don't know what the joke is, count yourself lucky. And if you do know what the joke is, you've already said it. So, let's move on. I do like the song, but I am going to skip it. Just because of lyrics. Okay. Slugma's another one of those Pokemon. Really, there's so many Pokemon I wish I would use more. But because I often use Cyndaquil, I don't need a fire type in my team. So by the time I come across Slugma or Houndour, I'm good, right? So I think they're also higher up in C. A Cargo, I actually do like his design. He's kind of gives me like Slowpoke with like Quagsire vibes. He's just happy to be here. You know, he's just part of the team. He's trying his best. He's very cute. You want to give him pets. Only thing is he's molten lava, so you can't. But I feel pretty confident putting him pretty high in B tier for me. Like, never used him, but if I ever got him in a run or played through Heart Gold, Soul Silver, or Gold and Silver, eventually I will play through Gold and Silver in the new year. I'll probably end up trying to use them at some point, or if I came across it in like a randomizer run, I wouldn't be upset. I would be genuinely excited to use them. Swinub, Piloswine. Honestly, I'm feeling pretty B, maybe A for Swinub. I love Swinub's so cute. A while back, I wanted to play through, like, you know, I tend to get both versions of the game, like the Pokemon games when they come out, and I had both versions of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. I played through the one, and for the other one, I wanted to do like a little like fun run where I use Pokemon I don't really use but I like. One of which was Swinub. So I just kind of like, you know, started the game, picked my starter, and then used like the Pokebox to basically put them into my team. And then they were basically my starters for that run. I can't remember which other two I picked, but Swinub was one of the three. Like I picked three. Swinub was one of the three. I can't remember what the other ones were. So I think Swinub's A. Piloswine. I think, like, I really like Mamoswine. Piloswine is just, I don't know. Like, he kind of has like cute dog vibes, you know. I don't know where I feel. Do I neutral? High neutral? Yeah, well, high neutral for now. Corsola. Where should Corsola go? Where am I feeling? Corsola is another one of those Pokemon. Never really used them. Like, usually during a playthrough, typically by the time I could get Sunflower, Corsola, I probably already have like a Wooper in my team. Honestly, looking at these, you don't really get a lot of early water types, do you? I think I also have like Poliwag, I think as well. It's like another option I tend to have before I use Corsola. I feel like there's other. Aren't there other ones pretty early on, like other water types? But I also don't dislike Corsola either. So once again, I think he's just kind of plopping into B or C. I just don't really have any opinions on him. No real hatred. Like, honestly, same as like with Hoppit and stuff. I don't hate them. Like, they're not good. I want them to be good. I don't hate them. I don't sigh when I encounter one, you know? It's just kind of like, oh, neat. And I think with Corsola, there's a little bit of like that excitement like I would get with like if I encounter like a Cargo. That like, ooh, I never used this guy before. I'm kind of excited about this. So I think he would probably be a little higher up in C. So like, Honestly, I think I would like to have them over Meryl and Ezra Meryl. Like, I like them. They're fine, but they're just, I know that they have a good ability and stuff, and I'm just kind of like, whatever with them. But there's something about Corsola where I'm like, there's that intrigue there. Remoraid and Artillery. Once again, another one of those I would like to use. I'm realizing that I get very like pigeonholed when I play Gen 2. That might be something to look into when I revisit the games. Their general structure. So like with Gen 1, sure I've had more time with it, so maybe I had more time to experiment with all the Pokemon. But I felt like I had more thoughts and like general like feelings towards them. Whereas I thought I was gonna have that or more with Gen 2, and I'm realizing there's a lot of these where I'm like, like, no love, no hate, just they're just there. So I think yeah, just kind of just see. Like, I wouldn't mind giving them a try, but they're just one of those Pokemon where I'm just kind of like, they're there. No love, no hate. Delibird. Man, I'm still wondering if I should add another tier sometimes. Because I don't hate, there's a slight dislike. Like, like C's like middle. B is like, I like. A is I love. S is top tier. Like, great. But below I have D, which is just kind of like the, slight dislike, and then I go immediately into hate. So there's not like that like cushion essentially. And with Delibird, he's not in hate, and he's not like as like cruel as like D tier would be, but not as high as C. So you know what? I'm gonna do a spur of the moment thing. We're gonna add a row below. I'm gonna add an E tier. We're gonna add an E tier. So E is like even further below. Yeah. 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 This is feeling better. I might do some shifting around later. Because, like, the reason why I feel better with this. Whereas S is, like, unapologetically love, F to me is unapologetically don't love, right? And then, like, C is neutral, B is like, D is slight dislike, or dislike, E is hate, or just some sort of, like, just don't like it for like it's a little bit more severe than D, and A is love, you know. So they all kind of have like their opposites. C is neutral, B is the opposite of D, E is the opposite of A, S is the opposite of F. Mantine. Man, I almost forgot the name for a second. Mantine. Let's skip the song briefly. Mantine. Once again, see, let's put these two in D. So quick once over. Yeah. Alright. Skarmory. S tier for me. I love Skarmory. I mentioned before, I love birds. Skarmory, super defensive, hits decently well, and the thing is with Skarmory, he's a good wall, solid wall, does everything you want a wall to do, but he also gains Stealth Rocks, he also gains Spikes, I think he also gains like the toxic ones as well, I think by like moves or something like that. At the very least, he gets Stealth Rocks and he gets Spikes. Spikes by learning, Stealth Rocks by TM, I believe. Maybe both by learning. I can't remember fully. But if you're looking for a Pokemon that can take a hit, Skarmory's your bird. If you're looking for a Pokemon that can set up some like hazards, Skarmory is a great choice. And if you're looking for a mon that also just hits decently hard, you could do worse than Skarmory. Especially if you're looking for like something that can avoid earthquakes and stuff. There is the fire weakness, of course. Fire weakness, I think lightning. I don't think ice because of steel. Steel resists ice. But just honestly, just a solid overall. And I don't think there's a rock weakness because rock resists or steel resists rock, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But honestly, just one of my favorites. I'm definitely going to have to reorganize S a little bit. Houndoom, Houndour. I think just for design alone, they have to be in B. They're really cool looking. Again, I typically have Centiquil, so I don't really get a chance to use these two in battle, really. So I'm going based off of design alone. Yeah. That's where like the tail end of B is showing up, right? Whereas the front end of B is either Pokemon I've used and I like the design, or the designs and something else. And then middle of B starts to taper more into just design. And then it kind of falls off. C is a lot of like the designs are there, but they don't hit quite as hard as B for me. Or there's like just like a neutralness to them. Kingdra. To be honest, Kingdra is another one of those. I think B tier. Could be bordering on A for design alone. But I don't have any like personal attachment to Kingdra. But I can probably put him like here and feel pretty okay with that. Vampy. I unapologetically love Vampy. I think he's cute. And Donphan's also up there. During Gen 4, Gen 4 was one of the first, like, games I got into, like, the bit of the competitive scene. And I had a Donphan in my competitive team. I don't think I did the EV-IV trading stuff at that time. I did later on, and that killed my enthusiasm for competitive battle. But now I can't not do IV trading if I'm breeding a Pokemon because, like, go big or go home kind of thing. Honestly, the whole competitive scene with Pokemon is a whole topic for itself. But Donphan was one of the first Pokemon I had on my team because he was bulky, he hit really hard, and though he wasn't fast, he could learn Ice Shards. So I believe if you had like a female Pokemon that had Ice Shards, you could pass it down. Oh no, a male that had Ice Shards, you could pass it down to the Donphan, and it would get Ice Shards. So Ice Shard was one of those moves where most people they didn't expect it, and with how hard Donphan hit, Donphan could easily take out Garchomps and even the occasional Dragonite, because people weren't expecting an Ice move, and because Ice does times 4 damage, and Donphan's hit pretty dang hard as it is. And, like, Garchomps don't have the best defenses as it is, so Garchomps typically went down pretty spectacularly, might I add. And Dragonites survived them more often than not, but not well. You know? Because Dragonites do have more bulk. But, like, especially now that they have multi-scale, I believe. But, like, really, don't sleep on Donphan. It's like, if you can get one with Ice Shards, I don't know if that's still possible nowadays, but, like, damn, did it wreck shop? Porygon. I don't. There's like nothing there for Porygon. Like, if I found out that they were removing any of the Porygons, I'd be like, I mean, that's a weird choice, but I'm fine with it. Question: would people like to see a like list of me going through the Pokemon and like having to choose whether the game keeps it or gets rid of it, and I have to make that choice? That might not be a bad video. It'd be a hard video to do, right? Because as I said, I don't really hate any of the Pokemon, but there are some where I'm like, you know, if they had to like cut the numbers down, because let's be fair, a lot of the gens are clones of previous gens and that sort of thing. So it's one of those things where it's like, if you had to start like just gutting the list, I make a list of like every Pokemon here in this tier list. One tier is keep, the other tier is cut. What would I choose? That might be a good video. Let me know. Stantler. Pretty solid tier. I'm blanking on this little shit's name. Damn it. I had his name and my brain's just like, nope, gone. Shit. Yeah, don't know. It's not coming to mind. Blanking on it. I have to look it up. Alright, as I was looking it up, I remember it was Smeargle. Man, that took me, like, my brain kept trying to be like, sketch it. And I'm like, no, that's not the name. Smeargle. Okay. Honestly, I don't really like, which Hitmon is this? Hitmontop, Hitmonchan, Hitmonlee. Blanking on his name as well. Tyroke. Oh. Like, there's potential. Hitmontop is definitely B tier. I honestly love the Hitmontop minigame in Pokemon Stadium 2. That was a solid minigame. It's like Beyblades, but with Hitmontops. Yeah, I feel like I put this guy pretty high. Smoochum. T tier. Okay, here's the thing. I think I gave Jinx a pretty high rating in Gen 1. Smoochum, it just weirds me out. The fact that it's like a child and its whole thing is kissing is just weird. It creeps me out. I don't like it. Honestly, I'm putting him in E tier. Just like it's a cute design and all, but I don't like its like just the fact that it kisses everything. It's just weird to me. Elekid. Okay. I like Elekid. Think he has a great design. One of the few baby Pokemon I actually think I like. Okay. Yeah. Honestly, I think he's just a solid design, and I like that he turns into Electabuzz. Like, if I were to think of like a baby form of Electabuzz, this is kind of what I would think about, right? Okay. Magby. Here's the thing. I like the Magmar line. Like, I like Magby fine enough. I think I like him more than Pichu. Yeah. That feels about right. No tank. I've said this before on streams. I did not think Whitney's Miltank was a challenge growing up. I don't know why. I think just because I used Geodude. So it made with I'm pretty Geodude probably had Rock Smash. So it's one of those things where Miltank never was a problem. So there's not like that hatred or anything towards it. I don't really like Miltank. I haven't really used Miltank either, so I can't really let you know yay or nay. I think Miltank is just kind of neutral for me. Like, I think Stantler's a little higher. I think I could put Stantler up there. Stantler's definitely higher than some of these. Or not Stantler, Mantine. Yeah. Blessy. Like, Blessy's weird. Because I don't hate it. And I want to put it in neutral. But I have no interest using Blessy. Or Blessy. Because, like, Chansey is just better in every way, especially since they added the Evilite. Like, there's no reason to use Blissey unless you don't want to waste your Evilite on Chansey. And, I mean, I guess I like Blissey's design more than Chansey just because it has more going for it. It's not just an oval with an oval. It has a bit more flair. Yeah. Yeah, I feel alright with that. Ooh, down to our last, like, 9 Pokemon. Raikou, Entei, Suicune. Ooh. I think I like them more than the birds. And I'm a big fan of birds. But there's something about, like, Zapdos's design, as I mentioned before. It's very sharp, which is probably the point, you know, they look like lightning. But there's something about their designs that just never fully hit. Moltres felt way too, like, skinny. Yet, like, Moltres' design always felt weird. Articuno's design was top tier for me. I can't remember where I put Articuno in my list. But, yeah, this is just one of those, like, their designs was neat, but I could also argue with myself on how much I dislike some of them for various reasons. Besides Articuno's just top tier for the birds. For these 3, it's gonna be hard. Like, if I had to choose, like, choose one of each of the 3 roaming legendaries. For Gen 1, Articuno. Gen 2, like, for Gen 1 it'd be Articuno, Moltres, and then Zapdos. For this, I think it would have to be like this, honestly. So I think Raikou is at least, like, they're at, I feel like they're at least all A tier. I could not put any of them into B. They're high up in A tier for me. Yeah. Kind of has to be this. I could probably argue putting Raikou into S. But there's also something so, like... And I think this is why I can't put any of them in S. Because I could argue for either of these, given a day to be an S tier. So maybe that means they're both in S. But, like, Suicune, very majestic, right? Like, imagine seeing a Suicune standing in, like, the distance. Its mane flowing in the wind, maybe some mist covering, like, the cliffside. And just, like, this flowy, like, beast-like entity just kind of standing there. Like, that visual for me is great. Really, all of these, like, these 3 starters, the visual I get from them is fantastic. Just based off their designs alone. You know what? Fuck it. My list, that doesn't happen often, I think they're all S tier. Maybe I'll change my mind. Because, like, I was going to put maybe these 2 in S and Entei in A. But the idea of the visual I have with them is very strong. Like, I could... Granted, I have aphantasia, so I can't actually see stuff in my mind. But, looking at them, I can almost paint, like, a word picture in my mind of how cool they would look. Like, Raikou would be, like, kind of idea, cliffside, maybe, like, more, like, top, you're looking up at it, it's kind of looking down at you, lightning striking behind it, with, like, maybe a mist, maybe just, like, that stormy, like, rain coming down, lightning here and there, maybe, like, a flash, and then, like, you see, like, the Raikou looking down at you. Then Entei, I can almost see him, like, a volcano erupting, right? And then, like, it kind of, like, jumping out of the volcano. and then the perspective of like the image would be like somewhere either it falling with like the lava exploding behind it, or you can even have it under above with the lava below it. I don't know. With Entei, the image isn't as strong for me. So once again, I could argue putting Entei here, but just the visual of these guys alone, I feel is very strong. Larvitar, Pulpitar, Tyranitar. Larvitar design, I don't really have any feelings for his Larvitar. I think he's okay. I think he's cool. I feel like he's a dark type, but he's not. He's rock ground early on. Pulpitar kind of just gives me similar vibes as like the Metapod lines. They're just kind of there. Like I don't think I quite nothing him. I feel like at least with like the the Metapod and Kakuna, I felt like it belongs. I don't quite understand what creature Larvitar is, other than its name just sounds like larva. Maybe I need to do some more research into what Larvitar is based off of. Like I could argue, you know how a lot of people say like the evolutions got mixed up and that sort of thing with like some Pokemon Gen 1? I personally feel like you did not need Pulpitar for this evolution. Pulpitar could not exist and you wouldn't miss anything with these two. Like, either I feel like with these two, if they wanted a middle evolution, they could have gone the Charmeleon route where she's just kind of bigger. But realistically, I don't feel like Pulpitar is needed. But I also not going to put him in E tier either. Like, because I don't dislike him. It's just one of those things where like, I don't think he's needed. Like, if he was axed from the game, people might be confused. But I don't think he would lose anything. Lugia, Ho-Oh. Now, for the legendaries on the boxes, Lugia, like, pretty up there for me. Ho-Oh, I don't mind him. He's cool. B tier. Celebi. Now, fun thing with Celebi, I remember a long time ago, I was still a kid, and at a local Food Basics, which is like a food store near where I lived when I was growing up, they would have like those little like toy machines. You can put in a loonie, you got a toy. And my dad did that, and I remember him calling me, being like, "Oh," and keep in mind, I didn't know every Pokemon at the time. I never caught Lugia, Celebi, never caught Celebi, never saw Celebi. That movie wasn't out yet. So I remember my dad calling me and describing Celebi to me. And I wish I still had this drawing, because he described it to me and I drew it. The only thing is I didn't get his hands right. But I remember him describing to me like, it has this kind of head, has this kind of a hand, and I drew him out. The only thing is like I think I gave him like mitts rather than like what his hands actually kind of are. But that memory stuck out to me quite a bit. So I think for that memory alone, Celebi's a little higher for me. Like, honestly, looking at this, the legendaries for Gen 2 hit better than I thought they were going to. So, this is the list so far. Would I change anything? Does anything here in F tier not belong in F tier? No, I'm pretty happy with that. Anything here in E tier that should be higher or lower? Here's the thing. I like Lydian, and there's a soft spot in my heart for Ladybug. But in my mind, that idea of if you cut a Pokemon from the game, would you miss something? I don't think you would miss Ladybug. Like if they cut one of these two, I don't think you would miss Ladybug very much. I don't know. I was gonna put him in F tier. You know what? Fuck Smeargle. What? Its the only thing is that it can copy every move. It's just whatever. It has a niche, but I don't really care. Tyro gets you the Hitmon line, which has that going for it. But I didn't like how humanoid it was. You know what? Smoochum's F tier. Because Smoochum actively just makes me uncomfortable. As I said, Porygon could also get the axe. Really, any of these Pokemon here, really any of these could maybe get the axe, and I wouldn't really care much. Like, maybe a bit more for Togepi in them. Just feel like they definitely have a special place in the series. But like, yeah, these guys don't really hold a lot of place in my heart for me. Let's see. Delibird. Kind of low. Yeah, that feels right. How am I feeling for C tier? Swine can probably fall back a little bit. Liger as well. Let's see. We can move. Do I want to move any of these? Maybe kind of shift these lads around a bit. Yeah, I think I'm feeling pretty okay with that. B tier. Yeah, we can move Healer up a little bit. Like Kid better than these guys. Oh, Levitar and Tyranitar. Yeah, B tier feels nice. Feels right. I do like the kaiju vibe of them. Yeah, I'm okay with this. A tier. Hmm. We can move. Honestly, I think I'm okay with this. Now, S tier. Okay. Skarmory's up higher. Like, I think Mareep and Ampharos kind of take the same spot for me. Same as, like, the Cyndaquil line. I feel like they all kind of take, like, spot 1. So the spot 1, spot 2, spot 3, 4, 5. Um, Raikou higher. Yeah, these two kind of take the same spot, but for different reasons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This feeling right? Probably put Hooper here, maybe? Yeah. Um, honestly, I could. Part of me is like, oh, I could just move one of these guys to A tier, but I don't like the feeling of that. So yeah, I think they all belong. The idea of moving them out of S tier irks me a little bit. Yeah. So I think this is the list. So in S tier we have Cyndaquil, Quilava, Typhlosion, Skarmory, Ampharos, Mareep, Crobat, Umbreon, Caesar, Raikou, Donphan, Phanpy, Wooper, and Blossom. Pretty solid looking lead. Um, yeah, I could probably put like, yeah, that feels pretty good to me. Like, I feel like, given the day, any one of them past like Cyndaquil could be shifted around. You know, like, yeah, that feels pretty good. Like, I think I like Lugia a little bit better than Entei. But besides that, that feels pretty good. I think Chinchou is moving down to C. Because I keep looking at him, just feeling he's not in the right spot. Honestly, Sakuma, you got a promotion. Yeah, that feels right. None of these feel like I can, like, they feel pretty solid. Like, I feel like I could like him and Ha if I move them around. Togepi, this line here. Yeah, that feels all right. B, same thing. Same as F. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, this is my Gen 2 list. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what a Pokemon you like and dislike, where you would change it up. Um, and yeah, I'll see you all hopefully next month for Gen 3 favorite Pokemon. Until then, see y'all next time.